more modern day. It's like a UPS or UPS? No. Those
GPS.
it's those little sticks that you attach to the computers and you put things on it and blah blah.
Oh,
What I'm talking about.
yeah. Well, I just call them memory sticks, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Those sticks you put into
UP
things.
we're not exactly tech savvy here, but yeah, I think again this is going to be really interesting. Nintendo actually worked with a company called Ninatech Labs, which is probably best known for their sci-fi game Ingress, which worked along the same lines from what I understand. I don't really know a whole lot about this, but it was like apparently it was a bit of a harder game to, and so
Which isn't a bad thing. Like honestly, a lot of the games I enjoyed, especially growing up, were the more difficult, the ones that it wasn't done in a day. You look at the Legends of Dragoon. It took me a month and a half, almost 2 months to complete that game. Final Fantasy was another one. And these are games that challenged you and tested you and got you to think and do things. You look at the games now and it's just boom, done. And I think that's where games have gone wrong. So I'm glad to see this aspect coming back, and I'm definitely glad to see Pokemon come back to a whole new, level, and it's just phenomenal.
although I completely agree, and like you said, this is going to be interesting because this is actually going to encourage people to go out and to interact with each other, to go out and check out things. Who knows? There might be special events for different cities. I know that in Pokemon in the video games, they've often used real places as inspiration for places and events that they've done it within the games. So I think this is really interesting. If this is successful, if this works,
This is Pokemon. There's no if. We know this is going to be successful because the following has always been there, and I think you've seen a lot of the sites,
well,
comments.
I've seen some interesting stuff from this, and what I think is that this is going to just absolutely blow up. Yes, Pokemon is huge, and with the success of this, can you imagine where this could go? What other game franchises might be able to play off this same?
I would definitely like to see the aspect of, say, Final Fantasy going on the same aspect. I believe they could do it. You even look back. We used to. I don't know if you did, but I know I did for sure. Digimon, Monster Ranchers, things like that. Those could make a comeback with Pokemon doing what they're doing here. It could open doors for old time anime, old time cartoons such as that to make the return in an epic way.
Well, I definitely think something like Digimon might actually work with this as well because it'd be on some similar plane as Pokemon.
Well, yeah,
and if you just from the cartoons alone, there was Digimon, I think season 2 that actually came to the human world.
Yeah.
So there is some relevance to this.
Yeah, majority of Digimon was actually based in the real world. So the idea of bringing it into a game such as what Pokemon is doing is not far-fetched. It's actually a legitimate dream. We've all grown up with that. We enjoyed watching them. I can't put into words exactly how excited I was to see this. I was tagged in the trailer for this game, more times than I can count within a 24-hour basis. And no matter how many times I watch it, and I believe I'm up to about 27 times right about now, it's exciting every time. And, for me, as someone who really doesn't like to get out as much, it's worrisome, but it's exciting to see the aspect of what they can do, and people who are afraid to meet people or who don't know how to meet other people. This is the perfect aspect. Pokemon brings everybody together.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I know that my wife's going to be really big on this. When I found out we were actually going to talk about Pokemon, I realized, okay, I don't know a whole lot about Pokemon anymore, so I actually had to go back and check out Pokemon Go because I didn't even give this thing a second look when first came out. It's like, oh, another Pokemon game, and this actually excites me to a certain degree.
I hate to say this, but I'm stealing your wife. She's probably going to be my most hated opponent. Because honestly, I could see at 5 o'clock in the morning. You have a battle. Dang it! Not again.
But see, I don't know if you would be able to do that because I think you actually have to be able to see one another.
Well, then I guess I am camping in your backyard from now on.
Anyways, folks, you know what? I gotta cut this guy off. We really need to go take a quick break here. We'll be back, and we're gonna talk about some other things.
Like Nickelodeon.
The Splat.
Welcome back. So our next topic is, of course, also a big flashback. They are bringing back, if we go back to the 90s, we'll start there, talking about the 90s. You turn on the TV, the first thing that comes to mind is Nickelodeon. The old-time TV shows, Ren and Stimpy, my personal favorite, Cat Dog, Cow and Chicken.
Cow and Chicken.
The classic ones. Nickelodeon has made an announcement, and it's not confirmed, it's not whatever, but they have made a trailer, so it has to be some sort of confirmed. Nickelodeon's The Splat.
The Splat.
The Splat. It's basically all of our favorite 90s TV shows all rolled into one, all on one channel, and I guarantee I'm going to be a zombie after about a week.
Yeah, there'll be shows like Rugrats, Eek, Real Monsters.
Which, you know what? The kids from today are lacking, the classic real TV shows that we grew up, like Eek, Real Monsters.
And it looks like they're also going to have Angry Beavers.
I wasn't a big fan of Angry Beavers, but you know what? I couldn't stop watching.
Cat Dog. I think I went off and saw Rocko's Modern Life.
Rocko's Modern Life is definitely very common in that trailer, so that's kind of exciting to see.
It's a few others on there. I wouldn't be surprised if we go off and see, Ren Stimpy. I wonder if they're going to have all grown up.
Well, they definitely have Rugrats, and you can't have Rugrats without all grown up, but I am I mentioned Cow and Chicken, but I am a little concerned that in that trailer, there was no Cow and Chicken.
Well, it's possible there isn't any Cow and Chicken.
But you can't have the 90s TV channel
of
all the cartoons without Cow and Chicken.
That.
I grew up with Cow and Chicken. Mama had a cow.
Mama had a chicken. Mama had a cow. Dad was proud. He didn't care how. Yeah.
You have Eek Real Monsters, but you don't. Or no, sorry, it's Real Monsters.
It's actually Eek.
You're mistaken.
I am not mistaken. You're the one who's mistaken.
I'm never mistaken.
You are mistaken all the time.
I'm the boatless captain. What are you talking about? But anyways, you can't have that without some of these other classics. And honestly, I believe we have at least one kid listening, not including the two that are currently on the show at this moment. If you absolutely love TV, go back and watch the classics. Without the ones that we grew up with, you wouldn't have all the cartoons and movies and everything that you have now. And even like Pokemon. Pokemon set the standards for every game, that pretty much role-playing and adventure that we have now. Without Pokemon, the world would be awful. And I don't care who disagrees because they're all wrong.
I'm just choking on, comments here.
That's kind of rare from you, but we have to keep it slightly PG tonight.
Yes, just slightly PG.
Just because this child doesn't want to be offended anymore.
Well, these were definitely shows. I mean, again, I am 10 years older than you are, so these shows
only in body.
Maybe only in body. Physically, I'm 10 years older than you. Emotionally, I'm probably about the same age as you.
Oh, more than likely.
Which is like 6 years old.
Really? That's pushing. I thought we were 3.
Well, with 6, we have to actually be able to read, so...
What's reading? That's what voices are for. You can hear everything. Voice to text, talking to your phone, it types it for you. It may not know what you're saying, but it types it for you.
I don't like that voice. As you know very well, whenever I use, the voice messaging thing for my text, doesn't work out half the time.
Technology today, even though it's helped us make our show, is the most confusing, jaw-dropping, cluster of whatever.
I don't know. Honestly, I think Drew Pickles from Rugrats is the one responsible for voice messaging. Why? Because only he would come up with something that doesn't work like that.
That's true. No.
Yeah, that's definitely a Pickles invention.
Dang those pickles.
And I guess I'm just thinking of some of the other shows. I wonder if they're gonna have like wild thornberries on there as well.
I do question exactly not so much what they have on, but how much they actually can have. Unless they're going to be playing, these ones every day, continuously, there are only so much they can put on. And
I'm not sure about that, because there's quite a few shows that came out. I remember a lot of shows, I just can't remember their names.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, but that was Nickelodeon.
I don't care. I want to see it on Nickelodeon.
Those classic episodes were really good.
They were the best. Today's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I don't understand it.
But yeah, a teenage April O'Neil just doesn't.
No, she was always an adult, and that's how it should have kept it. Don't mess with the classics.
No, absolutely not.
But we made them that way for a reason.
It's funny because definitely going down the rabbit hole. I'm a part of a Internet Wrestling Federation, and one of my characters is actually named Charlotte O'Neal, which is I took the names from Charlie from Biker Mice from Mars and O'Neal from April O'Neal from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Speaking of Biker Mice from Mars, that's a cartoon that when I mention, people run from me in horror. It was the most vulgar. It was the most, not so much ignorant, but grainy TV show that you
I'm
can
not sure where you're getting that. That was, to me, I think it was great. I think a lot of people might have felt to a certain degree it was a ripoff of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to a certain degree.
And that's not saying I don't like it, because I had a puzzle book of Biker Mice from Mars. I had a board game from Biker Mice from Mars.
I believe, almost every single character from that. I had all 3 of the mice. I had the main villain. I had the scientist. I had this little sidekick that you'd pop a button and his brains would come spilling out.
I had a headless mouse. Does that count?
Probably.
His head kept falling off.
And my favorite character, though, was Evil Eye Weevil. It was this alien who was supposed to be, Elvis. And it just, I don't know, for me, his arms always kept popping off, which I thought was really funny for some reason.
Because they made the toys classic. They knew that we were rough, so they made them so they came apart.
Those characters were great because, yeah, absolutely, if a limb popped off, you could just push it back on.
Stretch Armstrong. That was always my favorite toy, because no matter how much I abused it, and trust me, it was a lot. It always went back to its original shape. No, wait, that's not true. That's not true.
You know what? Those Stretch Armstrong guys, after a while, they were filled with like sand, and after a while, the sand would go